It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good morning. 17th of April 2019, 2 minutes past 8 CET time. My name is Piotr and this is the pre-London Open live market coverage on Global Light Forex YouTube channel. So good morning again. Risk on in full speed. Chinese data beat expectations. So the Chinese guys printed good numbers. We can always say that the stimulus kick in. But anyway, of course, positive reaction from Australian dollar and Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar also supported by oil. Yesterday, private APA data. We are awaiting for the official EEA later today. We are done with stops on dollar yen above 112.15. At least first attempt we took the first stops. A little bit of recovery on euro dollar. We are going to talk all about this within the few seconds. Good morning, Mer. Within the few seconds, first risk warning as usual. Guys, please bear in mind trading FX, trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investments, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay. Friendly reminder, we are going to cover New York Open later today as well. So you are guys more than welcome to join the party at 2 p.m. CET as well. So as I mentioned, the Chinese data beat expectations. GDP 6.4, 6.3 was expected. Activity better. Industrial production much better. Strong beat here. 8.5. And 5.6 was expected. Retail sales beat 8.7. Great data. So probably if continue, it might be worth, from the investment perspective, it might be worth to watch emerging markets in the near future. Of course, taking into the consideration the local risk, because why I'm talking about this. Before the Chinese data, we've had very weak New Zealand inflation data, CPI, right? 0.1 versus 0.3 expectations. So there's a huge Kiwi sell-off. So Chinese data, it's okay overall, but then local risk. So for example, Aussie Kiwi testing 107 or so, yeah, 106.80. So that was good call some time ago. Congratulations for those who are testing this. Anyway, the US yields are doing well, so probably the latest euro dollar or overnight euro dollar rally and the question is if it's going to be sustained. If it's sustained, let's have a look what we have on the yield side. There you go, 2 years, 240, 2 and 5, right? And what is important, we took out this supply zone, right? Positive sentiment, yields higher, so that's another factor behind the dollar-yen move, right? What next? Let's switch to the daily here. We are trying to take out this manipulation point, right? Once we are done here, 260, that might be the case, and we are talking because the breakdown was from here, right? And we trying to take out these levels, right? So the next one around 258 to 60, top of that previous range here. So it's positive development. If yields could keep going up, definitely that should support dollar, right? We are going to talk about euro dollar in a second. Tens. Where is it? Okay, sorry, futures. Tens. Yes. There you go, 260, right? And here it's a little different story because we are retesting the consolidation before the breakdown here, right? So 265 could be the key. We are testing, so let's clear that stuff here, here. So we are right now testing this one, right? Drop, base, drop, drop, base, drop, base, drop. So yeah, if done with 265, if we are gonna to close above 280 again, right? So break to the downside, failure with failed without the continuation, back inside the range 280 if we are gonna to take out 265, right? And 30s testing 3, haven't seen since last FOMC, right? And we are again back above significant 295, right? And we are going to test, or we are testing right now 305 as a key. Above 305, 310 next. Okay, let's have a look briefly what is going on the dollar index. And here, zonk. With very positive development from the yield perspective. Dollar cannot, or bulls got the problem to push the price higher, right? So looks like we may try to retest last week low, and there is a still 96.60 possible demand. It's what we discussed last time, right? So it might be another attempt to break lower on dollar, meaning break higher on euro dollar, and so that's one is missed. And also 1330, 1350 on euro dollar, this is a significant supply, right? So we will see how it will unfold. the negativity here, move back below weekly open, right? So yeah, what was the low? 96.75. That might be under pressure, and 96.60 might be in play. But guys, what we are talking about? We are talking about 20 ticks move. No volatility. We need volatility, and hopefully we are gonna to get one over the course of the day. And because it's very interesting from the calendar perspective. So let's get back to our MT4, and before we start to discuss particular pairs, let's have a look what we have on the agenda. So we know what happened during the Tokyo session, what are on the agenda for European, especially UK CPI, right? The combination yesterday earnings and today CPI, we'll see. The market expectation year-to-year tick higher from 1.9 to 2, and core as well from 1.8 to 1.9. That might be pound positive, at least short term, right? Taking into consideration that we are still trying to hold as a bulls, trying to hold 30.2970, all right? So yeah, we might see another retest of 31.20, right? And that's something we already discussed. That's the pound from the daily perspective, okay? Let's remove arrows, okay? And still we are inside some kind of the consolidation, if we can call it that way, right? So it's a time to decide what next, right? Because there is not much space left. Of course they can extend, it's not much space left, but of course they can expand. No one is gonna to care, right? All those guys and their dogs are short volatility right now. But anyway, that's how it looks. Based on this triangle combination, it's time to decide which way we wanna go, right? That's how it looks on the pound from the daily perspective. There was pressure on the pound yesterday, especially around the option expiration time. When we got the news from Guardian that Corbyn said that there is no way to continue the talks with the government Brexit related. Then a few minutes later the news was denied. So that's how it looks. Rumors, leaks, and that's what we have to be aware of. Now, what is going on with pound? Just don't be fools by the overnight move to the upside. We just retesting Monday low, and we are approaching weekly open, and taking that into the consideration, another sell-off is possible right now. So either we are gonna react on this, all right, Monday low, or we will try to push prices higher to retest real possible supply from yesterday, right? The place from where we broke through the weekly open and Monday low, all right? So I would be very careful, especially that it might be some kind of the one-to-one, so correction and attempt to go higher. Possible demand here on this hourly is based on this latest move to the downside, right? So what we're doing right now, we are just correcting. So then CPI, if better, that might be this a little bit of the fool to push it higher, right? So that's how the pound may looks like. We'll see. But still, I think that before we are gonna to get the decision based on what we've seen on a daily, in my opinion, we have to clean more stops. And what I'm talking about is, I'm talking about this. Okay? And over under just below. It might turn out that before the data we may try to do a little bit different thing, right? Something like this. So watching the developments right now. Frankfurt is open, we are awaiting London open. So yeah, around current level, both sides, bears, bulls, got their arguments in hand. All right. And just trying to finalize pound in terms of option expiration. We do have almost billion at 130, right? So it might be that pressure to the downside towards 130. And again, from the chart perspective, 130, 129.17 as significant, very significant zone. All right, so that was the pound with the CPI. Then at 11 we are going to get the final CPI out of the EU. All right, no fireworks here most probably. I don't have the link handy. I will try not to forget Mer, and will provide you the link. It's a Forex Live usually. That's where you can find the free version, right? Now, so we are waiting also for EU CPI. All right, and in regards to the options, yeah, in between 13-20, it's more than 2 billion, right? So it might be that we are gonna to revisit these levels, maybe a little bit higher, and then depends on the interest. If it's to the downside, it might be some defense, and we may try to move lower towards 1250 to make another business with 1.5 billion there, and we've got around 3 billion at 112. But never say never, but I wouldn't say we are gonna to see 112 today. Never say never. So that's how it looks from the calendar and option perspective. We also have German 30-year bond auction. So let's have a look what we have on the chart. And there you go. There was two things when I was thinking about later during the day yesterday. It was something like, okay, let me explain. First thing first, we had this dovish ECB, some ECB members created dovish comments about the rebound in second part of the 2019 that pushed euro dollar below 113 yesterday. All right, that was somewhere here. All right. Then another attempt to go lower was based on a rising US yields, right? But what happened here, right? We hold this yellow zone, we took out some stops, just stops. And nicely recovered, right? Now, if the rising yields are not gonna help dollar today, right? We might see a little bit more profit taking, and what we discussed second ago when I was providing the option levels, 13.20, right? With the possible stop hunt above the high from the late March over here, right? That's what we discussed. And we have 13.30, 13.50 significant supply zone which has not been tested, right? We were trying, but we didn't get there for the last 4 days, right? So maybe today. Now, trying to simplify a bit, that's something I like to look at. Yesterday pullback, right? Stopped within the previous pullback, right? So that's the natural rally-based rally. The thing is that the latest rally, last week rally, stopped right inside the supply. So from the higher time frame perspective, the truth is that the buyers didn't hurt sellers yet. All right. So that's what we discussed. 13.30, 13.50. That's the key. Either we are gonna to hit just stops and make the pullback. So then today candle is gonna be very similar to what we've seen on Friday, right? Because look what happened. Check the Monday. It might represent a little bit what we've seen on 10th of April. I know it's positive, but let's face it. Then pullback, and attempt to rally, and that's what we've seen during the Chinese or Tokyo session. I'm sorry, right? Asian session. So we may try to hit the stops above these 3 upper shadows: Friday, Monday, Tuesday. All right, and then it's all about defense of that 13.30, 13.50 zone in euro dollar. To the downside, still think that there is a demand down towards the daily open base on that, right? Now, I think that we might see, or maybe different way, if we are gonna to fail here without the stop taking, right? If we are going to fail here, right, without the stop taking, I'm gonna measure like this. That's the possible demand. All right, so we may see attempt, if we are not going to take the stops to the upside, so we are going to look for stops to the downside. That's, that's how it works. No other way around. If they are looking for liquidity, if cannot push higher, they will try to push lower to find the liquidity. So it might be the case, right? So we might see attempt to break lower if we fail here. But based on intraday price action, based on what we've seen yesterday, I think that we are done with the intraday stops to the downside over here. So something is cooking. I don't know if we are talking about the breakout or just stop hunting, but something is cooking in my opinion. And on Monday, I've mentioned that Monday it's gonna be quite boring. It might be half of the Tuesday as well. It's ended up that whole Tuesday was boring. I've been trying to chase the market a bit, one side, other side. Anyway, looks like something is cooking, and I said that Wednesday and Thursday, ahead of the Easter in Europe, it might be the case for some kind of the manipulation, maybe attempt to break out. We will see. So yeah, let's watch it. Especially we are going to cover live today New York Open, so looks like we got the chance to see if that's happened, right? Okay, trying to summarize euro dollar right now. Even if we are gonna to see another attempt to push lower, the demand is within the green zone based on daily. It's a little bit wider than it should be, but then what can I do, right? And to the upside 1330, 1350. That's what we have to watch carefully. And finally, dollar yen. We did it. We did it. I told you that at least we are gonna to hit the stops above 12.15, and that today's stop, at least for now, 16 and a half. So at least we hit the stops. Now, what next? With rising yields, US yields, and the positive sentiment, theoretically we should see higher levels. Now, because of the rejection, because of this rejection, right, we're trying to hold weekly open. That's okay. We're trying to hold weekly open, but I would like to see retest of the Monday low, right, to have this nice over and under formation done over here, right? So I'm looking for a pullback towards 111.90, and I would like to see them to hold. Otherwise we may just start to create some megaphone formation. In that case, might be topish. Depends, because we have 2 to the downside, 2 to the upside, right? Depends which side we are gonna to hit first. Most probably we are going to see opposite direction. That's something I'm going to explain during upcoming webinars. We will see. So in that case, if it's a megaphone formation, we might see attempt to go a little bit lower, and that's what we discussed yesterday. Lower meaning we might see move down towards 1160. Somewhere here, 1160, 1170, right? We'll see. And then attempt to go higher, pull back, and suddenly go higher. If we are gonna be able to close and hold and close above 12.15, 12.20, it might expose 14.50, 115 on dollar yen. Okay. So for now, I'm waiting for a pullback, either just under 112, right, towards 90, or deeper towards 70 and 60, and I'm gonna to watch the price action over there. What is on the agenda for the New York session? We in US we do have trade balance at 2:30, and later we have beige book at 8 p.m. CET, right? So nothing extra. From the dollar's perspective, it might be, from the dollar bull's perspective, might be good, right? Because if other datas like New Zealand CPI, right, weaker, if other data from UK or EU will not deliver, that's the easy for dollar bulls to try to push it higher dollar again. Anyway, that's how it looks from the majors perspective. Again, I would be careful with pound, with euro as well. Let's have a look what's going to happen with euro around 13.30, 13.50. We shouldn't say it's gonna break higher until that happens, right? Same with pound. Before we finish, let's have a look what we have on the crypto side. All right, there you go. We were discussing Bitcoin twice yesterday, and what is important development since yesterday, we as a bulls, we hold this fast trend line. That's the first thing first. Second thing, even more important in my opinion, is that we hold the top of this demand based on the monthly, right? We penetrated this zone when we broke 6,000, right? And now on that move to the upside from daily perspective, let's switch back to daily, right? We cross back to the upside, right? The top of the red line over here, right? Overall, the whole range, right? So once we crossed, there was 2 or 3 attempts to get back below 5,000, and we hold that top of the range, right? That's very positive development. And what we were discussing fast line, and what we were discussing yesterday from intraday perspective, right? And it suddenly turned out a little bit more bullish. Why? We were from the intraday perspective, we were able to take out this supply, right? And that should work like right now as a possible demand, right? There was a attempt during the Asian session, 1 second, right? Lower shadow, looks good. Now we have this base drop, so we have to take out 5,350, 5,500 right now, and it may open the way towards 6,000. That's how I see the Bitcoin. It's positive right now as long as we are above 4,950. Okay, guys, thank you very much. That was the pre-London Open preview. Just a reminder, at 2 p.m. CET we are gonna to start live market coverage, and we are gonna to cover New York Open. Okay, you are more than welcome to join the afternoon session as well. We are gonna to get more time to discuss different things. Enjoy your morning. Don't be trapped during the UK data especially, and see you again around New York Open. Take care. Have a good one.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.